So I ended up recording I went to a photography group meetup yesterday in
Yeah.
Grover Beach with Dee Dee from the Photography by Dee Dee. You remember her from school?
Yeah.
And so we we met up. There was like three other photographers there, and we were just sort of sitting at a round table. Well, not a round table, but a rectangle table, and just
Yeah.
talking about photography and what it is that we do. And I brought my recorder to sort of record it, and I figured I might be able to get a good podcast out of this. However,
Yeah, that'd be
um,
cool.
yeah, however, this microphone setup, you have to format the memory card before you even begin recording something.
Yeah.
So I can play back that audio from
Hmm.
the group meeting, but I cannot see those files once I bring it into the computer. Like I'll put the memory card in the computer and it's just empty.
Yeah. What the hell? That's
Yeah.
weird.
So I was able to figure out that that's what happened because I put a new memory card into my recorder and I ended up formatting it, recorded like a quick little test,
Yeah.
and sure enough, that was the reason. That was the downfall for everything.
It's kind of annoying.
It is. So, did you finish Altered Carbon?
Oh, yeah, I did. I
And
was gonna say too, I went to a paranormal activity group meet a couple months ago. That just reminded me of that.
why am I barely hearing about this right now?
Uh, I don't know, it didn't seem too spectacular. Just one of those weird things that just kind of happened. Because I was bored. So when I was just me here alone, I'm like, man, I don't know what to do with my free time anymore because I don't really want to play video games all day. I know what I used to do.
Yeah,
And I looked online at like just things to do in the area, like events.
yeah.
And there's like a wine and vinyl night. And I'm like, man, that sounds kind of cool. And then there's no one there. It's like just me. And then there was this meet, and I'm like, that could be interesting. It was
So
at
wait,
the
wait, wait,
library.
wait, wait. Wine and vinyl. What's that? Like you go drink wine and you listen to records? Like what kind of hipster meeting is that?
Yeah, that was the concept.
Did you have to
That
bring your own scarf? Was it a BYOS?
No, but I think you're supposed to bring your own vinyl.
Oh, man. I was like,
Yeah, it was at this place downtown Vacaville, and uh, it's a wine bar,
yeah.
and they probably have other alcohol too, but it's like a wine bar and lounge, and like yeah, oldies night, and it was getting hyped up on the city's event page,
Yeah.
and I show up. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna see what this is about, and it really was just like the girl working, and then me.
Really?
Yeah,
So nobody else. There
uh,
were no other hipsters in town that wanted to do that.
it was literally nobody, and then someone else showed up finally, and it was like her and her boyfriend.
Did they
Uh,
bring vinyl or
nah, they didn't even bring any vinyl to listen to. I don't even know if I didn't see a record player anywhere either.
wow? So it was
I
pretty
don't know
much
what
then
that
just
story
bring your.
was.
Did you even have to bring your own wine, or did they supply that? Like, what was the cost for that event?
There was no cover. Like I would have been a little pissed off if they made me pay to get in for that.
You have to pay it again, and then it's just you.
Yeah. But yeah, that's what that was about. And yeah, I finished the show too. No, you asked me that, and I went off on some tangent there.
I know. It's kind of like you had that mini rant that you needed to get off your chest. You're like, hey,
Yeah.
I did this thing, and it's really been eating at my soul, and I need to tell somebody about it. So here we go.
Someone needs to know about the random things that I've been up to.
One of the things that I brought up yesterday in that photography group meeting,
Yeah.
they had mentioned I think it was Dee Dee. She mentioned how she took photography in high school, and I don't know if you did. I know I did, but
No, I remember you did. I
yeah.
remember we ditched a class and so you could take pictures in Pismo.
So yeah, um, yeah, I won't get into that. But I I remember working in the dark room and what's it called? Developing my film and printing my prints onto photo paper and things like that. And it was really cool. And I had brought it up that I never got the relation between Lightroom and darkroom
Hmm.
until like maybe a year ago or 2 years ago. That back in the day, you literally worked in a dark room to develop photos. And
Yeah.
now the software Lightroom is, well, you're developing photos during the day. So hence Lightroom.
Oh, it does make sense.
Yeah. And somebody didn't
I
get it.
didn't think of that.
Yeah. Somebody didn't get that. It was like their mind was blown like Neo from the Matrix. They were just like, whoa. And it was
It's
just,
kind of eye-opening.
yeah. And I told them, this is kind of like the movie It Follows. Like, I've now passed this on to you. It's your burden to carry. Feel free to try to share it with as many people as possible until you find somebody that doesn't know, and then it'll be their burden. I've been carrying this for over a year now, so
Yeah.
yeah, little known fact, the more you know, I guess. But anyways, now I broke off on a tangent. Tell me more about your thoughts on altered carbon.
Well, before we get into that, no, I'm just kidding.
You're like, I got another tangent.
Hang on, let me get drink of coffee here.
Yeah, I got water and I have tea. I did a podcast.
Hmm.
I want to say a couple days ago with a young woman that I photographed, her and her boyfriend. It was like I pitched it as an engagement session. However, they're just still dating.
Yeah.
Because they were a really young couple, but very photogenic. And so I had her on the podcast to talk about her work and like the style of photography that she does. And my throat was like super dry. So,
Dang.
and I was drinking Crystal Light, which doesn't really do much for quenching one's thirst or coating the throat.
Yeah. It makes my throat itchy, maybe.
Yeah. So my recording, when I finally listened back to it, it sounded like I was really holding back. Like I was coughing off mic and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was tangent number 3. Altered carbon.
Yeah, thanks. You got 2 tangents in a row.
And that's pretty much like, if you didn't know, I'm already recording. So.
Oh, I didn't know that. Disclaimer.
Yeah. Little disclaimer.
Yeah.
Per the FBI request, I am recording this conversation. You are being recorded.
Oh, cool. Yeah, so I go to lonely wine nights and paranormal meets. Put that out there.
Hashtag lone wolf.
Wolf pack, lone wolf.
Yeah, party of one.
Yeah, altered carbon.
Yeah, finally. We're like, I'm looking at the time and I'm like, we're 9 minutes into this. Altered carbon.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. Altered carbon. Lego.
Yeah, so it really grabbed me at first with right off the bat you get the action. They're breaking into this guy's home, and you get the cool suits of the SeaTac agents.
That tier 4
And
warrior
right, I'm thinking,
set.
yeah, really. And I'm thinking this is pretty cool. Just I don't even know the word for it, like the production value.
Yeah, they put a lot of money into it.
And the visuals you get, and I'm seeing like it's just so it immediately grabs you, and I'm thinking, okay, this is pretty cool. And the premise, how this guy, have the stacks and this cool little line of, you need to solve a murder. It's like, well, whose? Mine. It's like, oh,
well,
damn.
I think
okay.
he said it a little bit more mysteriously, not like the way that you just said it. You said it like it was like, mine, duh.
Well,
like he's supposed to know that after 200 and some odd years of slumber.
Well, that's how I heard it.
Like, mine, come on, mine.
Doy.
Yeah.
I did say it like that, didn't I?
You know what I noticed because I put the subtitles on because
Yeah.
when the little one is getting ready to sleep, that's the time when I would catch up on these shows,
Hmm.
and scoffs is something that is written in the subtitles quite a bit. And a lot of, maybe it's just because I'm watching a lot of Netflix, but
Yeah.
scoffs is there a lot. So I notice when people scoff now.
Yeah, I remember I used to do that with Flynn, and you'd see just like the most random things in the subtitle. It's like staring intensifies, or
Yeah.
I don't know, but
So yeah,
yeah.
this other
So
world, solve my murder, solve the murder of me.
yeah, they set up great. Like, okay, that's an interesting concept with the um, transferring your conscience and this futuristic, but kind of what's the word? It's like a sci-fi punk kind of
Yeah.
world. Does it remind me of like a Ghost in the Shell or a um, Blade Runner type? And so that was pretty cool because it's on some clean futuristic and
Some people were saying it was a nod to um Blade Runner,
yeah, I definitely had a feeling of that.
a movie that I've still never seen beginning to end.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I haven't even seen it beginning to end either.
I've seen the previews and it looks really good. And I gotta say that yeah, the world looks similar to the
Hmm.
preview. But
Yeah,
I've never seen the movie, so I couldn't honestly tell you.
it's very similar to the intro that I watched the first half hour. But that's what grabbed me is the world and kept me watching because uh like you probably noticed the story, it starts to really, so that's the initial plot. That was even in the trailer, solve my murder, and then it kind of just goes off in a bunch of directions.
Yeah, it did.
And that was like my big gripe with it, is that you have like so many interesting uh concepts going on, and you have this character who, like, what's an envoy exactly, and who's this woman that trained him, what was this uprising or this
Yeah.
war about, and you just want to know more.
Yeah, I felt like
And
they never touched on that. And if anything, if they were to do a prequel, which I don't think they will,
mhm,
they could get more into into that world. But I felt like, yeah, I didn't know who they were as envoys. Like I didn't really
yeah,
care about whatever their mission statement was because they didn't really explain it. And I guess you can kind of piece it together because I know that the show was based off literature, and
mhm,
I'm pretty sure it explained in a great detail what they were fighting against, why they were fighting to begin with, and
mhm,
why this woman felt that they had to pretty much put a cap on everybody's life because they were pretty
yeah,
much taking full advantage and bastardizing her creation or her invention. Um,
yeah.
but I guess like what was she like the female Morpheus trying to free people's minds from this or like teach them the way to break the system or I don't really know like how to live forever in each stack or something like
Yeah, it just, I mean, maybe that shows like a lack of delivery with their storytelling,
yeah.
because you watched it and you're not like knowing, okay, why this and why that, and because all I was able to gather from it is um that she felt bad about her what she created,
Yeah.
and that it's like if people are immortal, then it's the rich who are going to abuse it, and then that kind of did happen with his sister
Yeah, that
and
she called it.
and Bancroft. Yeah.
But yeah, I don't really think that they they touched on enough. They definitely introduced a lot. I think that well, we had talked about the movie Bright, and I think that Bright, even if it was a series like this was,
Yeah.
they probably would have packed more information and answered more questions in a series like this than they did
Yeah.
with the film. However, this series, it's like you got to give me a season 2 and maybe even a season 3 to even cover this entire story and this entire world, than to pack it into season 1. And now where do you go from here for season 2? Because you killed Poe, the AI
Yeah.
hotel concierge, and you ended up closing the book on that ex like what's that called, military dude. You
Yeah,
closed the
this
book on him by getting his wife her sleeve back and by getting his daughter back. You
yeah.
created this huge question of, well, what's the daughter's role in things now, because she's one with the interface or the whatever the internet is of this future world. So what is her main deal? Is she gonna fight for people's rights, or is she gonna sit and have breakfast with her parents and just go back to regular life?
Yes, I'm back.
Yeah, it's like I'm back. I have all these crazy superpowers. I can change the way that I look, but
Mhm.
I'm just gonna chill here and have some orange juice with my family. And then you like, what happens to that, what was it, that Benelek Barrick, what was his name?
Who, Bancroft?
Yeah, Bancroft. It's
Yeah.
like it's like, what happens to him? It's kind of like the Scooby Doo mystery where they solved the murder, and it's like, oh yeah, you just killed yourself, and he's like, you kids, and I guess I'll go to jail. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
that was a big one that I was telling you, just really like that was what the show was hinged on, and the trailer just solve my murder. And the first thing he says is like, "Oh, you probably killed yourself." He's like, "I know what you're thinking. I probably killed myself. I know I didn't do that."
yeah,
And then, he gives him like um how they kind of wanted to set up the scene for the good guys.
yeah.
So he gives them that fake story, and he buys into it. It's like, oh, okay. And then in the very, very end, it's like, oh, you did kill yourself, though.
Yeah,
Like, what? I mean, thank God for the million side stories that didn't, really get fulfilled. It's to distract me from the fact that was why I was watching,
I know,
was
because
to find out who killed this guy.
I mean, they even introduced that dude in the in SeaTac who recruits him, and he's like, yeah, I'm gonna take you, little boy, and I'm gonna put you in the body of a man tomorrow. And I mean, maybe he didn't say it like that, but that's the way that I heard it. And
Yeah, I just hear this show differently.
and it's like, um he ends up catching him, and in a looky I got hooky moment, he's like, who's this little lady? It's nobody. And then
Yeah,
it blasts her in the stack, and it's like, oh my gosh, so that's it, that's the end of her. And then the sister's like, oh, I backed her up, she's still alive somewhere. And they
yeah,
had like some weird, like, incestual type relationship with one another too. I felt that was really coming off. I don't know if it's the sign of the times, or
yeah.
if
That was
that's
the other
really
thing
the,
that really got me, was the like I'm supposed to buy in on how because they didn't really back it up with much, like their childhood.
yeah,
I guess that they both watched their mom get beat up is what brought them close together. They didn't show the two of them just surviving.
yeah.
And so the next
Never
time they
face
meet,
the boogeyman together.
yeah, and so the next time they meet, it's automatic. Like they're two, they're on two sides of this conflict,
Yeah.
and
And the Yakuza, they're going to be around for a lot longer than anybody ever thought.
yeah, just take over a planet, some random planet.
Yeah.
But how it's like, hey, that was my mom's necklace, and all of a sudden Oh, we're brother and sister.
Yeah, but he
Let's
asked her in
let's turn on everybody.
yeah, he asked her in like a really cheesy way. Hey, where'd you get that necklace?
Yeah.
My mother gave it to me. Oh yeah, my mommy had a necklace like that too. And then they look at each other at that like really
Yeah.
long slow mo stare, and it's like, oh my gosh, I,
Like
f-
that's
I found you.
yeah. Like that's enough right there. I mean,
Like you think he would have had like a day of leave? I think they explained it in the show too. Like when they like piped in or downloaded into the planet, and he got his body back, and he's all looking at
mhm.
his body like, oh, I guess I got a tattoo now, and you know, this I got these scars, and it looks like I'm ripped because somebody here wanted to work out a lot, which is cool. It would have been sad to like him come back to his body and he's like all overweight and breathing heavy, like someone
like
was just gaming.
like how's your birth skin? This is actually not gonna work.
Yeah, he's like, he's got to tell his superiors like, I can't, I'm kind of breathing heavy. I feel like I still taste Twinkies in my mouth. Like, who had my sleeve?
Yeah, really.
It's like, well, I was some gamer had your sleeve actually, and but yeah, and then he finds his sister, and then it's like, yeah, she completely turns on the people that she was probably loyal to. I mean, that's kind of a stretch, I think, for however many years to have passed, for them not
Mhm.
to have seen each other at all, and for her to, you know, still have the fibers of the t-shirt probably stuck between her teeth because she did eat that shirt.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, she's like, I missed you, and they wanted to take your t-shirt, you know, that Slayer t-shirt, and
Yeah, she
it
freaking
might not have
ate
been, yeah.
it.
So I took the fibers and I ate them, and yeah, she had
Yeah,
some
that's like
issues.
some strange addiction stuff right there.
Yeah, those would have been red flags. Like,
Yeah.
you know, maybe you took after dad's genes right there. Like, you got a little craziness in you.
It's a little weird.
Yeah, but I mean, other than that, um, I guess all those things. They never explain the tree
Oh, yeah, you're right.
and how he had that little tinsel or whatever the heck it was from that tree, that little seed or that bud, and it was just kind of dangling in his finger. Like I thought there was gonna be something to that, but they never touched on it and they never explained it. They never said what that tree did. Like, is that tree like Awa and Avatar? Like, is it? Are you
Yeah.
connected to the people that are within that tree? Is that how that woman developed that technology? Because that little bud is the same kind of blue shimmer as the stacks. So
Yeah, because they even mentioned that, like the shimmer and like doing something about it or harnessing some power or something.
yeah,
I don't know, I barely remember that part. Yeah, and then like what was the significance and their why were they even on that planet?
yeah.
I think is something we were wondering.
And that guy, he's like, oh yeah, you know, I buy expensive stuff, and I bought this tree, put it in my house, and he's looking up
Yeah.
at it. He's like, yeah, I seen that tree in person when it was in the earth, and it's like, yeah, I didn't get the significance. I didn't get the reasoning behind it, or like what's its purpose if it had any, because they made me feel like it did.
Yeah. A lot of things in that show made me feel that way. And it didn't.
It's like, here's this thing we're going to introduce, and we want you to, you know, associate a feeling with it, and then we're just never going to talk about it again. I mean, even those AI programs that met in that CD like little poker lounge,
Yeah.
like that didn't pan out to be anything.
Yeah, it was mostly just feel make you feel bad for Poe.
Yeah,
Like, oh, you're the one that's left out
you're the
here.
outlier of
Yeah.
the AI softwares because you want to hang with the fleshies.
Study them.
Yeah, yeah, I didn't get that either. And then yeah, what else? Oh yeah, then I mean just really weird stuff. Like then they started going to that what was it? Eye in the sky or clouds. Clouds,
Oh
heads in the
yeah,
clouds.
Heaven in the Clouds or something like
Yeah,
that.
clouds atlas. They went up there. And that's the true. So they went up there, and it was like just a place where you can quote unquote real death people.
Yeah, that was kind of weird. And that I was really, really confused too. Speaking of that, how when the blonde girl falls from the sky
Yeah,
in the beginning, and I wasn't paying. I don't know if I wasn't paying enough attention, but I'm just like, okay, who is this? Why? I thought it was the beginning because it was an intro. It started in the intro of an episode.
yeah,
And I thought I'm still trying to figure the show out. Like, is this like a CSI where you see or Law and Order where you see the crime
yeah,
and then the episode starts? I'm like, oh, this is the episode where they solve the falling girl murder, and
yeah.
then it, and then I didn't even know who it was, what's going on until the very end. I'm like, oh, that's the girl that fell, and that's
Yeah, and by
why.
then it's like it didn't even matter. You already
Yeah,
knew that the sister was evil. And then I think that people forgot, at least I forgot, like, oh yeah, we're trying to solve a murder too.
yeah.
And he's busy playing rock, paper, scissors with his doppelganger. You want Rochambeau for it?
Oh yeah, that was kind of weird that two of them interacting.
Yeah. It reminded me of
So
that Jean-Claude Van Damme movie where like one of them's got tousled hair and the other's got slick back hair. That's how you could tell they're different.
what was that movie? That was funny. You had the nerdy one and the bad boy.
Classic Van Damme.
Yeah,
No dancing in that one, I don't think, but
I think there was. I think
really?
the nerdy one dances at the bar.
I'm gonna have to look back on it then. Yeah, you know what? I think you're right. I think he does. But yeah, they go to that hole in the sky, heaven,
Pie in
clouds.
the sky.
Yeah. Um and nothing really, I mean it's not like I really cared about anything that was going on up there. But
No.
then they introduced that one guy, like, do you believe?
Oh yeah, him. He was a real weirdo.
Yeah. Do you have the faith? Excuse me, sir.
I thought he was gonna be like big time because, like I said, I was waiting. Who is the antagonist here?
Yeah.
I
Here
thought,
this guy
oh
is with
man,
invisibility cloaking technology that is
yeah,
like stumping the police officers of the future. They're like, oh, I've never seen this technology before. And they give it to, this weak Jackie Chan.
yeah. Like, I don't know. The elevator scene, I'll give him that. Where, sure, came off a little weird, but I thought, okay, here we go. He just really laid into them with his flower knife.
I know. You're in the future. You got laser guns, I'm sure. You got all this stuff. And this guy's like, I hit you with my flower.
It's like the least threatening weapon. Like when he pulls it out in that one scene, you're supposed to think, oh no, like he's holding it to that guy's neck. And the whole time I'm looking at it, still thinking, how did that work again? Because he was taking chunks out with it, and
I know. It was like just a biting thing is all it was. Like he would just, it's like, I'm gonna bite you. I'm gonna bite you with my flower knife.
it's a little nibble.
Yeah. I kind of wondered, like, maybe it's like a stack extractor weapon, but he never
That's what I
used
was
it.
thinking.
Yeah, it was never used for that purpose. Like, you think that he might have had that fighting techniques or style to where it's
Yeah.
like, oh, like after, such and such minutes of hand-to-hand combat, checkmate, boom, got you in
Yeah.
the stack.
I'll pull your stack.
Yeah.
But no, he's like, got your shoulder,
Yeah.
got your tummy. Like, please just take the stack. Good Lord.
Yeah. At this point, it's like, stop what you're doing. You're really not good with that weapon. I don't think you're using it for its intended purpose.
Maybe he didn't know where the stack was. He's like, pulling out everywhere.
Yeah, he looked like a guy who didn't get out much. Like, point on the dolly where the stack is located. Is it here? Like, that's the kneecap.
Yeah, and he ended up just being a weirdo. Like it wasn't even a some kind of, because obviously religion play into the show,
Yeah,
being able to be reborn like that. But here he's supporting a meth or whatever they're calling themselves.
yeah. Meths.
Yeah, but he's just it's like, do you believe in what?
In the fact that really rich people can live forever because they're really rich.
Yeah,
And he
like
was
it's
like
just his
bamboozled on
thing.
that. And then it's like he's like her top dog. Like this
Yeah,
guy. I didn't get it. I was like, nah, this isn't the guy. They should have got somebody else here. They should have got like Bahubali or something.
oh, Bahubali. I'll get me started on that.
No, that'll be for another. With this instant transmission.
That just got out of control. I want to see it again though.
Yeah. I tell everybody about it. I'm like, yeah, you guys gotta check that movie out, but no one even cares. They don't look it up. So it's one of those things like if I ever have a barbecue at the house, I'm just gonna throw it on TV and be like,
Just
here you
put it
go.
on.
Yeah, you guys are stuck. You're watching it.
Put it on every screen.
But yeah, all in all, I mean, I thought it was an okay show. If they did another season, I don't really know how they're gonna, uh, like, what are they gonna do? Because they already have me under the impression that the main character's gonna give that sleeve back to that
Yeah.
Latin girl's boyfriend, who has now been exonerated of his crime. And so,
Yeah.
is he gonna go back into that? His like, what is his real? No, his real skin wouldn't even be alive. They'd have to give him a clone or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know what they would do. And isn't his other clone just floating around now?
Yeah, I think I don't think they killed that guy. Or
Yeah, so
maybe
there's that.
maybe his sister did. I forget. But even then, like he looked at that other clone like that was him,
Hmm.
and like people were assured, like, yeah, this is an envoy right here, and it's like, well, you guys don't know his birth skin, like what that looks like.
Yeah. That's so that kind of brings up for me um how if the if his skin in this show this season goes back to being her boyfriend, and who is going to play uh Cossack
Yeah,
and
Kovacs.
Kovacs.
Cossack. Who's gonna play that Cossack guy?
So when I'm watching it, they were saying Cossack.
Kosaki-san.
Takeshi Cossack.
Kosaki-san.
so
Do you bereave?
so who's gonna play Commack in this?
Comax.
And but like what I'm getting at is just that uh you develop a relationship with that actor in this show.
Who got yoked
How
up for the role too.
yeah, and how I was kind of saying that Kovac, because it's a show where they're switching bodies, um, they didn't give the characters enough like personality, like a deep identifiable personality, quirks and traits.
Like a tick. Like, oh, this guy like blinks his left eye a lot. That's how we know it's him.
Yeah, something like that that really makes them stand out. So that's why I felt when he was in his present day body, I guess
Yeah.
he did act different. Like he did have certain things about him that you think, oh yeah, I like this character. And when he was in his birth skin,
It seemed like he was more
he was
innocent.
cool. Yeah, he was cool too, but he definitely didn't have that edginess.
That
So he
attitude,
was
like, I don't care about anything or anybody.
yeah, he was a real like bleeding heart at that point, which he still like sort of had that. He was like the cool guy with a bleeding heart, but back then it was a lot different. So
Yeah.
you didn't, yeah, you couldn't connect with the characters. You connected like with the characters and their actors. I don't know if that makes sense.
No, it
That's right.
doesn't.
That makes sense.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying, and I really don't know where they would go if they did a season 2. I think that
Yeah.
they definitely had the they put in the money
Hmm.
and they have the characters to make it go a few more seasons,
Yeah.
but it's like they're gonna give that guy, the boyfriend, his skin back. So clearly, what are we gonna follow that boyfriend now, whose personality would be completely different from that Kodak, and
Yeah.
um the Latin girlfriend slash police officer's relationship. I mean, her whole family's gone, so I think that their storyline wouldn't be one that's followed. So even if he went back to his like birth skin or to another skin and went on this trek to find his Boothang, his baby girl from back in
Yeah.
the day, who his sister claimed was backed up. Which even then they could bring the sister back in a way.
Yeah. I mean, an architect found her or
Yeah,
something like that, right?
I mean she lucked out, and so, and so
Or not an architect,
yeah, it was like a undergrad or something, like a
an
student.
Indiana Jones undergrad. There's
Yeah.
an actual, not an architect. There's a
Yeah.
yeah, they're city planning and they found her.
Yeah, we were building a Krispy Kreme, and I found this glowing stack in the ground, and I put it in my little stack jar, and I spun it up, and
That's gonna annoy me now.
there was a naked lady in there. She's on Nikes, and I was like,
What's it called? Like the people that dig up fossils and stuff.
archaeologist.
An archaeologist, an
Jeez.
architectologist.
You know the guys that like the Jurassic Park guy that with the dinosaur bones.
The Jurassic Park Indiana Jones
Yeah.
undergrad.
Yeah, and so even if he were to go on a trip to like find his girl who his sister claimed was backed up, who his sister is just a habitual liar throughout the entire season, yet he
Yeah.
keeps believing everything that she has to say. It's like, who cares? Like, what are they would have to reintroduce maybe the guy that was hunting him down from the SeaTac.
Mhm.
They would have to build a story arc around, okay, now we're going to put that level cap on people. Everyone's going to get to level 100 and then that's it.
Yeah, just die.
Yeah, and then just die. I think that, but I don't know if that's like a 1 season arc or if that's like a 2 or 3 season arc.
I don't know. They definitely didn't set it up for multiple seasons. It's just kind of. I'm sure they could find a way. I don't know either.
Well, it's to be determined then. But for now, that was I guess that was your opinion slash rant slash really uneducated review.
Yeah, that's pretty much. I need structure. I don't know what I'm doing.
You're like, I don't know what the characters' names really are. I don't know what any of these professions are. I woke up, I just took a nap on the couch. I got gooshies in my eyes.
I don't know if you got anything you could use.
I'm just gonna throw it out there, throw it in the wind, see who listens to it, and like when you go fishing, you don't catch everything that's out there, but you're gonna catch something.
You're just gonna get a little of everything.
Yeah.
It's a little swap meet of conversation.
First, we're gonna start with your wine and vinyl story. I think that's a good way to sort of palate cleanse people before they hear everything that we talked about right now.
Yeah, I don't know about that. There's just too many things I can rant about.
Yeah. Well,
Uneducated rants about.
Well, we'll definitely have to save that for another time then.
All right.